Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpatarobhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaeva Cha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Madekabandhamatsangen Matkuro Manmadhana Mannestarakamadbhagya Madanandanamastute Asadhu sadhutadayin Atine chajataraka Ananchakadacinma Brahmaritkanthaya Mrutai Mahadvi Jaima Puro Vibhu Nirmaya Sete Yadamu Supurusha Bhumte Gunan Sodasa Sodasatmaka Sodam Prasishta Bhagavan Vachamsi me Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to our session on prayers by Queen Kunti. So we have been discussing chapter 8, Canto 1, prayers by Queen Kunti. In our last class, we were hearing, in fact, today we're going to conclude the prayers by Queen Kunti. So just a quick recap of Queen Kunti's prayer. Kunti Maharani, when she saw how Krishna saved the baby in the womb of Mother Uttara, she immediately entered into the platform of Bhava and spontaneously started offering glorification to Lord Krishna, which is nothing but giving an insightful understanding about the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. You can see in her prayer, she mentions different pastimes of the Lord, how they were saved when Krishna descends to the world. Why does he come to this world? So toward the end, in the last class, we are discussing There are different opinions behind Krishna's descendants to the world. And she mentions that some says, Kechidahurajam jatum punyasloka kirte yadahu priyasunvaya malayasya vachandanam. Just like the sandalwood which is growing in the Malaya hill, that is just to increase the glory of Malaya mountain. Similarly, Krishna, he appeared in Yaduvamsa, the dynasty of Yadu Maharaj, to glorify him or even to glorify Maharaj Yudhishthir. Apare Vasudevasya Devakyam Jatita Bhagat. Some other says, this is the opinion of different people. Devakyam Vasudevasya Jatita Bhagat. You are requested by Vasudeva and Devaki to be born as their son. That's how you can. And Ajastamasya Khevaya Vidhaya Sarabhisham. Whereas some others, their opinion is when Mother Earth was tormented by the atheistic kings, he appeared to remove the burden of the earth by subduing these rebellious kings. So in that way, she went on describing the different regions, but he says, Bhavesmin Krisyamanam Avidya Kama Karmavi Savana Smaranam Hani Karisyanti Kechana. Some other says, actually, you descend to this world to give an opportunity for the conditioned souls who are there. Avidya Kama Karma Vi. These people, because of their forgetfulness of the constitutional position, their relationship with you, and they are desirous of performing some activities to satisfy their senses. So they have been totally forgotten about you. Now you are coming to this world and you give them an opportunity by which they can hear about you and make a perfect journey to this human form of life. But what is the reason? That Sanvanti Gayanti Granti Vakshnasur. Smaranti Nandanti Tave Hitamjana Taeva Pasyantya Chirena Tavaka Bhava Prabha Paramam Padam. When they commit themselves to the process of hearing and chanting your names and glories, that helps them to attain your lotus feet. That's the goal. Just according to some opinion, that this is the main reason why the Lord descends. He wants to rescue the fallen and conditioned souls. He wants to give them his lotus feet, the shelter of his lotus feet. Therefore, he leaves his name and glories in this world. So, while offering prayers to Krishna in remembering his activities, his glories, Queen Kunti, she is now thinking, Idanim tava asmat parityaga anuchita iti asvene ah. Starting with text number 37, in next 4 verses, she is going to appeal to Krishna that, my dear Krishna, it is not proper for you to leave us during this hour. Means, she is saying, Apyadyanastvam svakrite hita prabho jihasasi svit suhridonu jivina yesam na chanyad bhavata padambuja Tarayanam Rajasuyojitang Hasham. O my Lord, you have executed all duties yourself. Are you leaving us today? though we are completely dependent on your mercy and have no one else to protect us. Now, when all kings are at enmity with us. Apyadya nastam sokrite hita prabhu jihasasi surida anuji. This is very important point. Pandavas, they have taken complete shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Without the mercy of the Supreme Lord, Pandavas feel their life is useless. They cannot survive without Krishna's mercy. This is text number 37, so text number 37, chapter 8. And Jesam Chanyat Bhavata Padambuja Parayanam, because they are completely dependent on your lotus feet. That's why it is not proper for you to live at this point when all these kings who are killed in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, their children, grandchildren are still alive, and they are already inimical to us now. And when you leave, they're just waiting for the opportunity because you have done everything for us. And now, after you leave us, what is going to happen to us? So, Queen Kunti is very much in consideration that definitely after Krishna leaves, her children are going to be attacked by the kings, sons, and other relatives. But anyway, so Prabhupada he writes in the purport that the Pandavas are most fortunate because with all good luck, they are entirely dependent on the mercy of the Lord. In the material world, to be dependent on the mercy of someone else is the utmost sign of misfortune. But in the case of our transcendental relationship with the Lord, it is the most fortunate case when we can live completely dependent on Him. So in that way, everybody should find shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. So when Kunti Maharani is speaking like that no, Krishna, please don't leave us now because all the kings are at enmity with us. Then if Krishna says, Nanu tava bandhava jadava putrascha pandava sura samarthascha. If Krishna says, my dear auntie, why are you worrying? Yadavas are there and Pandavas are there. Do you think they are not qualified to give you protection? They are very qualified. They are suras. They are, great warriors. Everybody knows the power of Gandiva, of Arjuna. And, Yudhishthira Maharaj is the very pious king. So why are you worrying? You have everybody with you. Tat kim karpanyam bhasase. Why are you speaking in pureness of spirit? Therefore, Kunti Maharani, she says, Kevayam namarupabhyam jadubihi saha pandava bhavato darshanam jarhi rishikanam iveshitu. As the name and fame of a particular body is finished with the disappearance of the living spirit, similarly, if you do not look upon us, all our fame and activities, along with the Pandavas and Yadus, will end at once. Kevayam namarupabhyam. So here, Kunti Maharani is giving an analogy. Just like our hand, eyes, nose, ear, all these sense organs are able to perform their activities, respective activities, when soul is there in the body. If soul leaves the body, then the hand remains just like, for the namesake as a hand, eye remain as a name like eye. But Eye doesn't have the power to see, neither the leg can walk, nor the tongue can speak, right? So this is the, you can say, the dedication of the Pandavas, that without Krishna, they are lifeless. This is a fact actually. A pure devotee of the Lord, the pure devotees of the Lord, they always stay in touch with Krishna. They take actually guidance from Krishna. Either if they are in a highly elevated platform, they can get direct contact from Krishna, like Prabhupada, for example. Prabhupada has mentioned that these Bhaktivedanta purports are not my words, not my purports. It's given to me by Krishna. It is dictated to Prabhupada by Krishna, and that is how Prabhupada gave the purports. These are not Prabhupada's words. He has told us, right? And now for us, we don't have that kind of relationship with Prabhupada, with Krishna, but we can just listen to this Bhaktivedanta purport and it will be as good as listening to Krishna. So anyway, so devotees, they take constant guidance from Krishna. In that way, they live happily in this world. So these Pandavas were completely dependent. That's why Kunti Mahani is saying, if you leave us, then there is no meaning to our life. So please stay with us. Bhagavata darshanam jari rishikanam nivesh. Adarsanam. If you are not there, then we are just like the senses without consciousness. So this Ke Bayam Nama Rupabhyam, I can give you one short story to explain what it means. At the end of Kurukshetra battle, the final day, final time, when Arjuna was still on the chariot, and now Krishna is saying, Arjuna, get down from the chariot. Normally, every day before, before, each day when battle ends, then Krishna will get down from the chariot and he will help Arjuna to get down by holding his hand. This is the duty of the chariot driver, Sarathi. Sarathi has to get down first while, helping the charioteer to get down from the chariot. So on this day, Krishna told Arjuna, Arjuna, you first get down from the chariot. Arjuna said, what? No, you are Sarathi, you should get down first, then only I will. Krishna said, Arjuna, I'm just telling you, you just listen to me. Krishna and Arjuna, they are in friendly relationship. And Arjuna was also for some time pleading Krishna, that Krishna, no, you first get down from the chariot. Krishna kept on denying. He said, no, I'm just telling you, first you get down, then I will get down. And finally, Arjuna agreed. He said, okay, all right. And Arjuna got down from the chariot. Then after that, Krishna got down from the chariot. As soon as Krishna got down from the chariot, the whole chariot caught fire and was burned to ashes. Then Krishna said, see, Arjuna, what happened? Right? We have seen another example. The Ke Bhayam Nama Rupabhyam. You see, when Krishna withdraw his support from his devotee, there is no meaning to the devotee's life. When Arjuna was still carrying Gandiva bow, you know the story, when Krishna had already left the planet, and Arjuna wanted to bring the Mahishis, the queens from Dwaraka, right? And he was actually coming on the way. And what happened? The infidels, they fought with Arjuna. Same Arjuna was there. Same Gandiva was there with him. He could not even fight with the infidels who just came with sticks in their hand and they defeated Gandivadhari Arjuna. The same Arjuna with the same Gandiva bow, he could fight Kurukshetra battle. He was fighting with Karna, Bhishma, big warriors. So, Ke Vayam Namarupabhyam Krishna, if you are not there with us, what is the meaning to our life? These are very meaningful prayers. Our devotees, we need to meditate upon the meaning of these prayers. Like Kunti Maharani is saying, similarly, we should also understand that without Krishna's presence in our life, there is no value, there is no meaning to our life. Prabhupada is saying, without the guidance of Lord Krishna, all of them are non-entities. As much as the senses of the body are useless without the guidance of consciousness. No one should be proud of his prestige, power, and fame without being guided by the favor of the Supreme Lord. The living beings are always dependent, and the ultimate dependable object is the Lord Himself. We may therefore invent by our advancement of material knowledge all sorts of counteracting material resources, but without being guided by the Lord, all such inventions end in fiasco. However strong and stout the reactionary elements may be. Then Kunti Mahani continues. He says, Neyam sovishyate tatra yathe danin gadadhara tatpadairankita bhati swalakshana vilaksitai. So she further continue. That means if you are not there with us, what is the good fortune of this Hastinapur? There is no meaning. Name Savishyate Tattvajidanigata. O Gadadhar Krishna, our kingdom is now being marked by the impressions of your feet, and therefore it appears beautiful, but when you leave, it will no longer be so. So this point have been very elaborately explained in the next prayer, where Kunti Maharani says, Ime janapada sriddha soko paushadivirudha banadri naddiganvanto hyadante tava vikshitai. Like why Kunti Maharani is not in favor that Krishna should leave them. She is saying that in your absence, this Hastinapur, the land of Hastinapur, will no longer be glorious, no longer will remain prosperous. So it will lose all its beauty in your absence. How? Ime janapada sriddha soko kurushadevirudha. Okay. All these cities and villages are flourishing in all respects because the herbs and grains are in abundance. The trees are full of fruits. The rivers are flowing. The hills are full of minerals, and the oceans full of wealth. And this is all due to your glancing over them. Prabhupada, he comments saying that human prosperity flourishes by natural gifts and not by gigantic industrial enterprises. See, this world is full of the necessities for human being. River is carrying abundant water, and we use the water for irrigation purpose. If there is no water, we will not able to grow grains and fruits. Because of Krishna's mercy, trees are giving fruits. Mountains are producing different minerals. There are herbs growing in the jungle. We are using them for our medicinal purposes. So all these are possible because of Krishna's glance. Prabhupada, he speaks quite elaborately on this verse. He says that when the mercy of the Supreme Lord is withdrawn, then how much a human brain can work, still they will not be able to bring the prosperity. That's how the modern industrial enterprises have failed in bringing in the prosperity as it used to be in early days. Before, people were more pious, they were more dependent on the Supreme Lord. Nowadays, because of the modern inventions, people are more dependent on the technology. And that's how you can see, even nowadays, we don't get pearls from the ocean, right? If you go maybe around 100 years back or 200 years back, on those days, the history says our people used to go to the ocean to collect pearls. But nowadays, there is scarcity. Pearls are being produced in the factory, right? These are duplicate pearls. So the point is, when we give so much impetus to the industrial enterprises, we are trying to save the vitality of human energy. But unless we depend on Krishna, on Krishna's mercy, we will always meet with failure. Nowadays, modern society just simply trying to exploit the resources of this world and exploit the human energy. Therefore, Kunti Maharani is saying, Ime Janapada Sudha Supoko Sudhivyuddha. The Hastinapur is looking very beautiful because it is carrying the mark of a footprint, mark of your lotus footprint. Krishna's lotus feet is marked with Vajra, Ankusha, Dhwaja, the elephant driver, that is called Ankusha, Vajra, the thunderbolt, Dhwaja means flag. So many auspicious marks are there in Krishna's footprint. And this is how Krishna's footprint has brought the good fortune to Hastinapur. Therefore, Kunti Maharani saying that because of you glancing over them, they are flourishing in abundance. Prabhupada is writing, the more we attempt to exploit material nature according to our whims of enjoyment, the more we shall become entrapped by the reaction of such exploitative attempts. If we have sufficient grains, fruits, vegetables, and herbs, then what is the necessity of running a slaughterhouse and killing poor animals? A man need not kill an animal if he has sufficient grains and vegetables to eat. The flow of river waters fertilizes the fields, and there is more than what we need. Minerals are produced in the hills and the jewels in the ocean. If the human civilization has sufficient grains, minerals, jewels, water, milk, etc., then why should it hanker after terrible industrial enterprises at the cost of the labor of some unfortunate man? But all these natural gifts are dependent on the mercy of the Lord. What we need, therefore, is to be obedient to the laws of the Lord and achieve the perfection of human life by devotional service. The indications by Kunti Devi are just to the point. She desires that God's mercy be bestowed upon them so that natural prosperity be maintained by His grace. It's a very important verse actually. When I was reading this, I was thinking, see, our ISKCON organization is meant to spread the message of Godhead. This is Krishna consciousness movement. When we preach more about Krishna, I mean to say, when people of this world, they invite Krishna to their consciousness and they, during certain time of the day, think of Krishna, remain Krishna conscious, they are able to connect with Krishna and they are able to see the mercy of the Supreme Lord in their life. When we can create this awareness more and more on the surface of the globe, Krishna will be pleased with our endeavor and the necessities which are required for the human society to clear path back home, back to Godhead will be facilitated by the mercy of the Supreme Lord. So in that way, therefore, his preaching mission has to continue with greater vigor if we are desirous to bring a good fortune to the surface of earth. Now I was thinking, just like a married woman whose husband is still alive, she appears even more beautiful when she puts vermilion on her forehead. And that's the sign that she is a Bhagavati, she is a fortunate lady because her husband is still alive. If we can awaken this Krishna consciousness in the heart of the conditioned souls of this world, that will also be a sign of Mother Earth having the good fortune of Lord as her husband. Like Prabhupada is saying, that why we open slaughterhouses and big industrial enterprises. No, simply just be Krishna conscious, and then Mother Earth will produce whatever is necessary. So people just simply trying to create a crisis in this world because they are not being Krishna conscious. So it's very important. Atha vishvesha vishwatman vishwamurte sukeshu me sneha pasam imam chinde dridham pandu subhishneshu. So while Kunti Maharani asking Krishna to stay by their side in Hastinapur, now she all of a sudden became more conscious about the Yadavas, Jadus. Therefore, she says, I'll read out the commentary of Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in this connection. He has given a very beautiful comment. He says, Gamane Pandavanam Akushavam Agamane cha Jadavanam. She's saying, if you leave us, then the Pandavas will be deprived of the good fortune. And if you don't go, then Jadavas will be deprived of their good fortune. Vyakula Chitta. She is repenting. Oh, what should I do? Tesu sneha nivrittim prarthayate. So Kuntimani is saying that now I have connection with both the parties, Pandavas and the Yadavas. So therefore, I am attached to both the dynasties. So because I am attached to them, therefore, I am perplexed. I am very much aggrieved. So that's how she is saying that now please sever my attachment to both of them. That's what she is saying. Atha Vishwesa Vishwatman. She is addressing the Lord as Vishwesa. Vishwesa means here, so Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Jahatvam Sarvesham eva Vishwesam Isha Bhavati. That means actually you are the Lord of all. You are the Lord means you are the protector of the Pandavas and you are the protector of the Yadavas. So her point is Tadrupa api swaswanu Vartinam Vrishne Pandunam Kalyanaya Kripa Sindhu Stvam Eva Savadhana Sada Eva Asi. Because you are the protector, you are the Lord of the universe. Therefore, you intend to bring prosperity for both Pandavas and Yadavas. Krishna is very, very merciful towards his devotees. Therefore, Kunti Mahani is saying that I know you will take care of both of them. I am unnecessarily being attached to them and trying to take side of one party. This is not good. Aham kintu kusala chintaya vrithaya mriye iti bhava. Why am I unnecessarily breaking my head to think about the good of either of them? Actually, you do everything because Vishwamurti means you are the soul of the universe and you are the personality of Godhead. So please sever my attachment to them. Sneha pasamam chindi. See, Queen Kunti, if you say like, how come she pray to the Lord that Lord should cut off her affectionate tie for both of them? It's not that she's asking the Lord, that means she's asking the Lord to cut off her affectionate tie, means she is very rude. No, you try to understand, Queen Kunti's heart is very soft. Sometimes the way devotees behave, it is quite confusing. See, when the Pandavas, they left from the lake house, and they are wandering in the forest, they came to a Brahmin's house and they are staying in that Brahmin's house. And their pastime took place in Akachakra village. That place is still there. If you go to Akachakra, birthplace of Nityananda Prabhu, that house where the Pandavas were residing, in Brahmin's house, you can still visit that place. Anyway, the pastime is, I want to just explain. You should not think that Kunti Maharani, being a devotee of the Lord, how can she pray to the Lord to cut his affectionate tie? No, her heart is very soft. You should not misunderstand that she is having hard-hearted. She's a hard-hearted lady. No, she's not like that. So when they were staying there in the Brahmin's house, so one day she heard the lady was crying. And then she came near the lady, and then she heard they were talking about who is going to go today. She could understand there is some danger in the house. So then when she approached the lady, then she came to know that in that village there used to be a demon by the name Baka. And this Baka would come from time to time and eat human, bullock, goat. So in that it was creating a trouble, creating disturbance in the lives of the villagers. So then villagers, they made an agreement with this demon. They said, well, look, you don't come out on your own and harass us. We'll do like this. Every day, we will ensure that a cartload of food is sent to you, along with 2 bullocks and a man who is going to bring. You can eat everything, and just even satisfied like that. Don't, harass us. So in that way, so the villagers, they used to periodically, there's a routine going around the village. Every day, one from one house, this food will be sent. And the one who will carry the food, he will be eaten by the demon. So that day, it was the day of that Brahman. So now they are thinking, who is going to go? If son goes, son is going to leave his body. Father cannot go, mother cannot go. So now, Kunti Maharani, she said, okay, look, I have got 5 sons. I can give one of my sons. Then this lady, she said, how can you do that? No, you are our guests and you are staying in our house. We are supposed to protect you. And now, how can you sacrifice your son to protect us? No, no, you should not do that. Then finally, Kunti Maharani said, no, don't worry. My son, one of my son has mystic siddhi and he will be able to kill the demon. Don't worry. And after repeatedly talking to them, then finally they were convinced. They said, okay, then your son can go. And then in the meantime, Maharaj Yudhishthira, he came. And then Kunti Maharani, she expressed her desire to Maharaj Yudhishthira that I have decided Bhima should go with the cartload of food. Yudhishthira Maharaj really became very disturbed. He said, my dear mother, how could you decide to send your son? How could you sacrifice your son when you know that demon is going to eat the man who is going to bring the food? Kunti Maharani said, my dear Yudhishthira, don't worry. If I have practiced religious principles correctly in my life, my son will not be hurt by the demon. I can challenge you. And see, this is how you can understand that somebody who is by the side of religion, dharma, truth, dharma means truth. In this even age of Kali, the truth is still prominent. You may sometimes be misjudged by the people, you may sometimes be faced with some difficulties, but if you are by the side of dharma, dharma rakshati rakshata. If you protect dharma, dharma will protect you. Sometimes people may misunderstand that you are very rude in your behavior, like Kunti Maharani, right? How could you send your son? No, you are a very hard-hearted lady. You don't have affection for your child. No, it's not like that. So she, and when she is praying for cutting off the affectionate tie, what she is saying? Prabhupada is writing, a pure devotee cuts off the limited ties of affection for his family and widens his activities of devotional service for all forgotten souls. To cut off all family affection means to broaden the field of activities. That means our devotees, they should not just falsely follow this prayer by Queen Kunti. Oh, now we need to cut off our affectionate tie with our family members, because Queen Kunti had prayed to Krishna. We should follow the footsteps of Kunti Maharani and capriciously try to cut off our relationship with family members. No. What does it mean? Actually, you can cut off your family affection which is on the bodily plane. Or you can say that affection which is creating an obstacle on your affectionate dealing with the Supreme Lord. Or you can say the devotee wants to cut off the material affection which arises from bodily identification. we don't want to limit our love for Krishna and his devotees. There is no difference between Krishna and his devotees. If you have love for the devotee, then your love for Krishna is increased. If you have love for Krishna, then your love for devotee is also increased. So in that way, Prabhupada is saying, such personalities, okay, without doing this means to cut off all family affection means to broaden the field of activities in Krishna consciousness, okay? Without doing this, no one can be qualified as a Brahmana, a king, a public leader, or a devotee of the Lord. Okay? Don't just simply try to cut off your family relations. Sadhya Prabhu. Don't just enter into Vanaprastha life. Okay? You stay wherever you are, just broaden your activities in Krishna consciousness. The personality of Godhead as an ideal king showed this by example. Sri Ramchandra cut off the tie of affection for his beloved wife to manifest the qualities of an ideal king. Such personalities as a Brahmana, devotee, a king, or a public leader must be very broad-minded in discharging their respective duties. So this is a lesson. You are devotee, sometimes your devotees are also leaders. So you can try to broaden your activities in Krishna consciousness, be broad-minded. Don't be narrow-minded. Then when Kunti Maharani is praying to save her affectionate tie for the Pandavas and Vishnus, then if Krishna says, Tarhi kim brahmagyane sprihavati bhavasi, you don't want to have affectionate tie for the Pandavas, even Vishnus, who are my devotees, that means, are you thinking to become a brahmagyani? Do you also want to cut off your relationship with me? Huh? What do you want? No. Kunti Mahani said, no, don't mistake me. I am not thinking like that. That's why she is saying, Tvai menanya vishaya matir madhupate shakrit rate mudbhata adadha gange vogham mudanmati. O Lord of Madhu, as the Ganges forever flows to the sea without hindrance, let my attraction be constantly drawn unto you without being diverted to anyone else. See, Queen Kunti's desire is not just to cut off the affectionate tie for the devotees of the Lord, which is against the devotional principle. No, her desire is that let my desire, let my attraction to you be continuous. So her point is, if by staying in connection, affection with the Pandavas or with the Yadavas, my attraction towards you is hindered, I don't want to have that kind of attachment. This is the point. You can definitely stay with your family members. And even if there is some hindrances created, don't allow these hindrances to interfere with your service to the Supreme Lord. That is the point. Just like all these rivers, they are flowing constantly to meet with the ocean, right? Mother Ganga, she started from Himalaya. And if you go to Gangotri, on the way you can find out big mountains. She is just cutting through, big stones. She's just going through. How? Because she just wants to meet with the ocean. She does not, no hindrance can stop her course. Similarly, Queen Kuntiman is saying, my attachment to either the Pandavas or the Yadavas should not create an hindrance on my service unto you. So, you can say when we are living in the family life, our attraction for the family members, for the children and other family members cannot be annihilated totally. Therefore, Prabhupada says the objective has to be changed. This is what it is. So we are Vaishnava, Vaishnavis, and we must know how to stay wherever we are and at the same time be properly Krishna conscious. Prabhupada is writing, her affection for the Pandavas and the Vrishnis is not out of the range of devotional service, because the service of the Lord and the service of the devotees are identical. You are always entitled to stay with your family members, be affectionate to them, provided you make plans, you create facilities to make them Krishna conscious. Then we don't have any problem. There will not be a problem for you either. You will find you are living in Vaikuntha, you are living with the devotees. You don't consider this Mr. X is born to you from your body, son, and just remain in this skin relation. That is ignorance. That is what is negated here. No. Therefore, Prabhupada is saying sometimes service to the devotee is more valuable than the service to the Lord. If you can transform your entire family to the devotee of Lord Krishna, then service to them even sometimes in better than higher than service to the Lord. So there is no problem. But here the affection of Kunti Devi for the Pandavas and the Vrishnis was due to family relation. This tie of affection in terms of material relation is the relation of Maya, because the relations of the body or the mind are due to the influence of external energy. Relations of the soul established in relation with the Supreme Soul are factual relations. When Kunti Devi wanted to cut off the family relation, she meant to cut off the relation of the skin. The skin relation is the cause of material bondage, but the relation of the soul is the cause of freedom. The relation of the soul to the soul can be established by the via medium of the relation of the super soul. Seeing in the darkness is not seeing, but seeing by the light of the sun means to see the sun and everything else, which was unseen in the darkness. That is the way of devotional service. You are, father, your mother, you have become devotee of Lord Krishna, you are initiated. So your duty is to ensure that your children from a very early age, they embrace Krishna consciousness and they also take initiation from a bona fide spiritual master and they embrace Krishna consciousness. Then your life is successful. So in that way, now Kunti Maharani, she is concluding the prayer again by offering obeisances to Krishna. She started with obeisances. Namasya Purusham Tadyam Ishwara Prakriti Param Laksham Sarva Bhutanam Antarbhairavasthitam. So Namasya means she started with obeisances, respectful obeisances. Now at the end, she is concluding her prayer offering obeisances. Kunti says, Shri Krishna Krishna Sakha Vishnu Bhavanidhru Rajanya Vamsadhananapavargavirya Govinda Godvija Surati Haravatara Yogeshwara Guru Bhagavan Namaste. She is addressing Krishna in many ways. Shri Krishna, O Krishna, and Krishna Sakha, friend of Arjuna. Vrishni Rishabha, O the chief of the descendant of Vishnus. O Krishna, a friend of Arjuna, a chief among the descendants of Vrishni. You are the destroyer of those political parties which are disturbing elements on this earth. Your prowess never deteriorates. Anapavargavidya. His prowess never deteriorates. You are the proprietor of the transcendental abode, and you descend to relieve the distresses of the cows, the brahmanas, and the devotees. You possess all mystic powers, and you are the protector of the entire universe. You are Almighty God, and I offer you my respectful obeisances. So, in that way, Queen Kunti, she started her prayer offering obeisances and then concluded the prayer also by offering obeisances. Then, Sutta Goswami, she continues. Sutta Uvacha Prithayetham Prithayetham Kalapadahi Parinutakrodaya Mandam Jahasa Vaikuntho Mohoyanniva Mayaya. Sutta Goswami said, the Lord, thus hearing the prayers of Kunti Devi composed in choice words for his glorification, mildly smiled. That smile was enchanting as his mystic power. See, when Krishna smiles, you should know that there is mystery behind his smile. Means, why he is smiling, it is very difficult to know. That's why he said, Haso Janannada Karicha Maya. This Lord's Maya is also his smile. And you don't know what he wants to do with application of the Maya, right? So now, when Kunti Maharani, she completed her prayers, so Krishna just simply smiled. That means there is something, hidden to it. And she glorified Krishna. Now, Krishna is thinking, okay, I'll do what I want to do. And at that time, what happened? Tambadha mityupamantya pravishya gajasa vayam striyascha swapuram jasyan premna rajna nivarika. You can see the situation now. Kunti Maharani requested Krishna not to leave, just stay with them. So Krishna, he laughed and said, okay. Then he got down from the chariot. And then he entered into Hastinapur. And he was there with the other ladies like Draupadi, Subhadra, of course Kunti was also there. And Krishna spent a little time with them. Then thought, okay, now kindly allow me to leave because I have to go to Dwaraka. I can't stay with you forever. I have a lot of duty to accomplish in Dwaraka. I am a grihastha. I am a king. I can't stay here all the time, my dear auntie. Okay, allow me to leave now. Then after drinking water, maybe you can say, maybe they might have given some fruits to Krishna to eat. A long time it have been, he have been standing, and so many things have been discussed while standing. So they might have given him some fruits to eat also, some water. Then finally Krishna said, okay, now allow me to leave. And at that time, Premna Ragyani Bharita. Then Yudhishthira Maharaj came. Said, no, my dear brother, you cannot leave. You have to stay back. And when Yudhishthira Maharaj requested Krishna to stay back, Krishna agreed. According to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, this is how you can understand the greatness of Yudhishthira's love towards Krishna. And why Krishna stayed back, now you will see. In the next verse, text number 46, Sutta Goswami is going to introduce the next topic, that is passing away of Vishmadev. What is that? He's saying, Vyasadhyaishvare yagyaim Krishnenadbhuta karmana prabodhito pitihasai navudhyata sucharpita. Vyasadhyaishvare yagyaim. Actually, Krishna engaged Vyasa and other rishis to speak to Maharaj Yudhishthira. Because after the battle, Yudhishthira Maharaj was very highly grief-stricken. See, before Kurukshetra battle, Arjuna was grief-stricken. After Kurukshetra battle, now Yudhishthira Maharaj is grief-stricken. Who is supposed to be the king? He's supposed to be very happy, right? But now he is, in grief. He's lamenting what has happened in the battle. So Krishna, he engaged Vyasa Rishi and others. And all these rishis, Prabodhita Pitihasa, they would quote some history from the Puranas and they try to console Maharaj Yudhishthira. Dear Yudhishthira, it was not your fault. It was supposed to happen like this. What to do? Even the Krishna tried to stop it. That's why Krishnena Adbhuta Karmana. Krishna performs some wonderful activities which is beyond human perception. You see, Krishna is there. Even Krishna was also convincing. Krishna was also trying to reach to Maharaj Yudhishthira so that his lamentation can go away. But even after Krishna consoled Maharaj Yudhishthira, still Maharaj Yudhishthira could not be consoled. This is how you can understand how beautifully Krishna performs his work. Prabhupada is writing, as super soul of King Yudhishthira, he did not allow the king to be convinced. Krishna is there in the heart of Maharaj Yudhishthira. People can say, Krishna is there. Why? When Swayam Bhagavan, he was trying to convince Krishna, Yudhishthira, and Yudhishthira Maharaj could not be conceived. What is this? See, why Krishna? That is why you can understand Krishna is Adbhuta Karma. Very difficult to understand what it is he has to do. And therefore, Prabhupada is saying, he did not allow the king to be convinced by the words of Vyasa and others, including himself. Because he desired that the king hear instructions from the dying Vishnudev, who was another great devotee of the Lord. The Lord wanted that at the last stage of his material existence, the great warrior Vishnudev see him personally and see his beloved grandchildren, King Yudhishthira, etc. Now situated on the throne and thus passed away very peacefully. Vishnudev was not at all satisfied to fight against the Pandavas, who were his beloved fatherless grandchildren. But the Kshatriyas are also very stern people, and therefore he was obliged to take the side of Duryodhana because he was maintained at the expense of Duryodhana. Besides this, the Lord also desired that King Yudhishthira be pacified by the words of Vishnudev, so that the world could see that Vishnudev excelled all in knowledge, including Lord himself. Krishna wanted to glorify Vishnudev. He wanted to show to the world that his devotees are greater than him. Even. So anyway, because Krishna wanted Yudhishthira Maharaj to go and meet with Vishnudev and get the instruction from him, that is how he will establish the glories of Vishnudev. And so Yudhishthira Maharaj could not be convinced. And then Yudhishthira Maharaj said, Ahvaraja dharma sutas chintayan suridam badam prakritena atmanadiprasneha moho vasangataha. Starting with this text number 47 until text number 52, the delusion of Maharaj Yudhishthira is discussed. King Yudhishthira son of Dharma, overwhelmed by the death of his friends, was aggrieved, just like a common materialistic man. O sages, thus deluded by affection, he began to speak. Now, Maharaj Yudhishthir, he is going to speak in delusion. Don't think that Maharaj Yudhishthir does not know Shastra. No, he is like Arjuna. Arjuna is a devotee of Lord Krishna. He knows he is a perfect Vaishnava, but he was put into illusion. That's why Krishna, Arjuna was speaking in great lamentation. Similarly, here, Maharaj Yudhishthir also speaking, uh, even he is speaking the atheistical opinion. He is giving the atheistical opinion, you will see. That is because he was in delusion. So, like a common materialistic, just like a common materialistic man, you can see how Prabhupada is writing. Prabhupada says, King Yudhishthir, though he was not expected to become aggrieved like a common man, became deluded by worldly affection by the will of the Lord, just as Arjuna was apparently deluded. Okay, with this, if you keep this point in your mind, then whatever we're going to discuss in the next set of verses, then you will not be deluded. Otherwise, you will be deluded now. Okay, please don't get deluded. Understand nicely. Okay, so. So another, by the will of the Lord, he became just like a common man, because there was another great idea behind this solution. The king would be instructed by Bhishma as Arjuna was instructed by Lord himself. Okay, so he was deluded by the will of the Lord, because Krishna wanted him to be instructed by Bhishma Deva. Okay, 48. Oho me pashyata jnanam hiri rudham duratmanah paratyasya dehasya bahuyo me akshoni hata. King Yudhishthir said, O my Lord, I am the most sinful man. Just see my heart, which is full of ignorance. This body, which is ultimately meant for others, has killed many, many phalanxes of men. Bahuvakshami hata. I have killed so many horses, elephants, and cavalry and infantry. One Akshoni has got 4 different type of soldiers. One is, there will be elephant, there will be horses, there will be infantry, and there will be chariot. So chariot means charioteer. Then elephant means somebody will be driving the elephant. Horse means somebody will be driving the horse. Some other will be padatikas, walking, infantries. So like that, there are 4 categories of soldiers. They come together to form one Akshoni. And like this, many Akshoni senas, the soldiers, were killed. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is saying that I did all these things just for my satisfaction. I should not have done this. Why did I do that? Baladvija Sunmitra Pitra Bhratu Gurudruha Name Syan Niran Moksho Shapi Varsa Utalde. See how he's thinking, he's saying that I have created enmity, and not only that, I have given injustice to Bala, the boys, Dvija, twice born, Surit, my well-wishers, Mitra, friends, parents, brothers, gurus, all these people were killed by me, right? So what an heinous act I have completed, I have committed. Now, even if I go to hell to suffer for millions of years, still I will not be able to become freed from the reaction. of the sin. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is highly lamenting. If somebody says, King Yudhishthira, why are you lamenting like this? Well, you are a king. It's the duty of the king to fight for the right cause. Now, Dharma Juddha. If a Kshatriya king fights in a religious battle, that is not a mistake. That is not a fault. That's how the kings attend to the heavenly planet. So that's a glorious work you have done. No, Yudhishthira Maharaj is saying, Naino Rajya Prajabhartu Dharma Juddhe Badhadvisham Iti Mena Tu Bodhaya Kalpate Sasnam. She is saying, no, I don't agree with these religious and these scriptural words. He's saying there is no sin for the king who kills for the right cause. Yudhishthira is thinking, well, Duryodhana was the king, I was not the king. And nobody attacked my soldier, my subjects. Normally, these scriptural injunctions are applicable to a king who is being attacked by an enemy king, or his subjects are being attacked by an enemy king. At that time, the king is supposed to fight the battle. But for me, first of all, I was not the king. I choose to battle with Duryodhana. Duryodhana was the king. Subjects were happy. Yudhishthira Maharaj is saying. He is not saying that Krishna was not happy. He is saying, oh, okay. Subjects were happy. Duryodhana was ruling the kingdom. So why did I do that? So I think, no, this was not a dharma yuddha for me. I have fought the battle just to satisfy my personal whims. I am responsible for these sins, and these religious codes are not applicable to me. See, this is how Yudhishthira Maharaj is deluded by Krishna's will. And then finally saying that Yuddhe Pumsa Badha Bhavatu Namadharma. Okay, if you say that in this religious war, this is a kind of a credit the king gets, okay, but see, Strinam Madvadha Bandhunam, Madhata Bandhunam, Droho Yoshagot Vihot Thita Karma Bhi Grihamedhirjay Naham Kalpa Vyapohito. He's saying, I have killed many friends of women, and I have thus caused enmity to such an extent that it is not possible to undo it by material welfare. That means even in Grihastha Dharma, in Varnashram Dharma, by performing some sacrifices, one can become freed from the sins. It's called prayaschitta. Right? In Karma Kanda section, there is an injunction. So therefore, the proposal is given to Maharaj Yudhishthira that why are you worrying? You can perform a Aswamedha sacrifice. That's how you can become freed from the reactions of the sin of killing and these people in the battle. So you, by performing a Aswamedha sacrifice, you can become freed from the sins. Yudhishthira Maharaj is saying, no, I don't agree with it. Again, he is giving this theistical opinion that it is definitely not possible. What is saying? Nijatha pankena pankam bhav surayava surakritam bhutahatyam tathaivaikam na jagyayimastumarhati. As it is not possible to filter muddy water through mud, or purify a wine stand pot with wine, it is not possible to counteract the killing of man by sacrificing animals. You can ask this question, right? This is injunctions of Shastra, that by performing this Aswamedha Yajna, one can become freed from these sins. But why Yudhishthira is saying like this? Therefore, Prabhupada, he is speaking very beautifully. Prabhupada has given very insightful purport to explain Yudhishthira Maharaj's sentiment here. Prabhupada is saying that Lord Chaitanya, okay, Aswamedha Yajna or Gomedha Yajna, sacrifices in which a horse or a bull is sacrificed, were not, of course, for the purpose of killing the animals, Lord Chaitanya said that such animals sacrificed on the altar of Yajna were rejuvenated and a new life was given to them. It was just to prove the efficacy of the hymns of the Vedas. By recitation of the hymns of the Vedas in the proper way, certainly the performer gets relief from the reactions of sins. But in case of such sacrifices, improperly done under inexpert management, surely one has to become responsible for animal sacrifice. See? Okay. If there is some qualified Brahmana available, they perform all right. But if it is done under inexpert management, then the consequence is it is as good as animal killing. Therefore, in this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, there is no possibility of performing the yajnas perfectly for want of expert brahmanas who are performing the yajna perfectly for want of expert brahmanas who are able to conduct such yajnas. Maharaj Yudhishthira therefore gives a hint to performing sacrifices in the age of Kali. That means nobody should think that I can still commit sinful activities and by performing Sankirtan Yajna, I can become free from sinful reactions. No, it is not possible. So therefore, Yudhishthira Maharaj, he is giving this argument to help us join in the Harinam Sankirtan Yajna in this age of Kali. As Prabhupada continues in the purport. So Maharaj Yudhishthira, he was deluded, and Krishna, he is going to make the arrangement. How in the next chapter you will hear, we will go to meet with Vishmadev, and upon hearing Vishmadev's instructions, then he will become freed from the lamentation and will become the king of Hastinapur. And upon seeing that his grandson has become the king of Hastinapur, then Vishmadev will leave his body while praying to Krishna. So next chapter we'll hear prayers of Vishmadev. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Now we can take questions or comments. Even sometimes I would say maybe in every class, whatever you have kind of, appreciated, you liked, you can also, just say a few things. Maybe 3-4 devotees can also say if you have some questions, fine. Although you can also give some comment. That's good to convey. That will be a kind of recap what you have heard in this class. You can also share with other devotees. Okay, so any question? Sahadev Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the class. I had lots of questions, but Srila Prabhupada and yourself answered the questions along the way. But I just wanted to make one comment and a suggestion, a humble suggestion. That is, when I used to live in the temple in my early days as a devotee, my own mother passed away. And my temple authorities told me, like we were reading, that's why I was laughing when you were discussing 1:841, where Mother Kunti was praying to Krishna that he severs her ties to the Pandavas, the Vrishnis, and you very nicely explained. But my temple authorities told me it was Maya for me to attend my mother's funeral. So they prevented me from attending my mother's funeral. Well, I found a way to attend anyway. But what I'm trying to say is, if we have leadership in the movement or in the temple who does not fully, I'm not saying my leadership did that because they didn't like me. They did that based on what they understood. So I'm thinking that it's very important that classes like what we have goes on for all devotees, so devotees can have deeper and better understanding of the scriptures so that we can apply the scriptures properly, because that could make some devotees bloop and never come back again. So I'm thankful that I belong to this forum where I'm being taught free of charge. And I know there is nothing free in this world. So I'm humbly suggesting that all of us on this forum somehow or other could help for this class to be running uninterruptedly. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji, Subhadra Mataji. Yeah, I pray to Krishna. He is listening to Queen Kunti's prayer. We are actually kind of trying to release the prayers offered by Queen Kunti. So if we and if we become attentive to these narrations, I will definitely believe that Krishna will be merciful to us. May Krishna bless you. Murli Govinda Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Sorry Prabhuji, my internet was little fabby today, so I could not switch on my video.
Okay, no problem.
Prabhuji, I have a small doubt, please clarify.
Yeah.
In one of the verses, it is shown that seeing the sun is not like that.
Yeah.
Matlab, seeing the sun in the darkness is not looking at the sun.
Yeah.
So is it like even the verses, the essence of any scripture also should be seen and understood with Shastra Chakshu?
Vedaischa sarvair aham eva vedya.
Right.
That means when you read Shastra, if you are able to find your connection with Krishna, then you are able to understand everything and you are able to see everything correctly. On the other hand, by studying Shastra, volumes of Shastra, days after days, a person still remains disconnected from Krishna. That means whatever he is doing, whatever he is seeing, his realizations, whatever he is speaking from Shastra also, of useless, that is of no value. So that's why see, Veda is meant to bring us near to Asatama Sadgamaya. That is the goal of the Veda. If one, after studying Veda, Vedic literature, still remains asat, then that is not the real goal of studying scriptures.
So like this sunlight is all these shastras, whatever is spoken, so we should understand that way.
Yes, as it is. And as it is means, sometimes the shastra, like for example, just now we are reading, no?
Yes, Prabhu.
Looks like a devotee of the Lord. Devotee, who is that? Maharaj Yudhishthir, such a high-grade devotee. He is confused. He doesn't know Shastra. They're performing by performance of Ashwamedha sacrifice. Sins will be eradicated. He does not know. Of course he knows. It was the will of the Lord. He wanted him to remain deluded so that he will hear the instructions of Vishmadeva. So that is the kind of, inner connection, inner understanding. So, therefore, what you have to do is, we have to see what is the intended meaning here. Therefore, Acharya's commentary is very, very helpful. So, then when you see Krishna through Shastra, then you are able to see everything. You are able to connect to everything also.
Even the prayers by the great souls like Kunti Maharani, it has got so much of meaning now, Prabhuji, like just not just for the sake of reading, we should not read. We should go and absorb what is her internal feeling when she is making that sincere prayer. We also should pray like that.
No, you should pray like that. That three types of prayer, no? Samprarthanatmika, Danyavadika, and Lal Samai. So initially, what we can do is we can recognize our true situation and go to the Lord and express our utterness to the Lord. Okay. And the devotee realizes that I'm so fallen. Not that he's just going and fluttering the Lord. No, it's not like that. And sometimes out of love, he says to the Lord, "My dear Lord, how can I serve you in this way so that you will be pleased with me?" That is the state of bhava. But as before we come to the stage of bhava, we can go to the Lord. That's like Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, "Seiso papa aparabjato parihare pailajya sabna." Means I have committed great deal of sinful activities. When I come in front of you, I am ashamed of revealing all my sins to you, my dear Lord. This is one type of prayer.
Yes.
So personal prayer to the Lord is very, very helpful to grow in Krishna consciousness. Yes, we should do that.
Yes, Prabhuji, why I am asking you this? I always tell my wife also, Prabhuji, because each individual devotee will have their own style of prayer before the Lord. But absorbing these great source prayers, will give us a lot of courage and a lot of faith also. Like the Prahlad Maharaj, even though his father was torturing him like anything, he was about to be killed. He did so many things, but he never shown any hatred towards his father. Okay, we need not go up to that extent. At least treating everybody like that, it will give us some kind of solace, na Prabhuji?
Yeah. Okay, so we have one question.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Sorry.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, how to turn family, especially adults, when they do not believe in Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Okay. See, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead? Because he is Bhakta Vatsala. Okay. Krishna is very merciful. If you are a devotee of Lord Krishna, then whoever you meet, whether devotee or non-devotee, I mean to say, especially in this connection, your family members, the adults, or even other family members who are not agreeing to accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they may have a different understanding. You, as a devotee of Lord Krishna, first of all, try to remain humble and try to show that affection that Krishna would expect you to show to your other family members so that they can understand the greatness of Krishna. Just like today we are reading that there is no difference between devotee of the Lord and the Lord himself. That means when you love the devotee, that is as good as loving the Lord. I mean to say, if you have understood the great and merciful nature of Krishna, how he is merciful to all, then you also kind of try to adjust your circumstance in family in such a way that they should be able to see the sweetness in your behavior as a devotee of Lord Krishna. If you talk to them big philosophy, they will not listen. If you give them good prasadam, they will like it. If you become very, very affectionate to them, they will like that. Even if they scold you and you become a very loving son to take care of their needs, they will like you. And when they like you, they will like Krishna because they see you are a devotee of Lord Krishna. So especially for the adults in the house, how rough and tough they may be, you should never retaliate against their rough and tough behavior. You always be affectionate, caring, and loving, and providing their needs. When you become affectionate and you show such sweet behavior to them, that will work. Try, I'm telling you. It will definitely work. Hare Krishna. Okay, so thank you very much, dear devotees. We have completed our time by now, 7:30. So see you next week, next Monday. We'll start from chapter 9.